if Tinubu knew that this was going to happen, probably wouldn't have fought so hard during the primaries of APC to become president. He would have remained as kingmaker and kept his image. But he wanted to be president. And, well, this is one of those things. He has to live with the consequence of it. You know, they have asked Bola Ahmed Tinubu to step down. Like, just do this honorably, unless you end up in jail. The only immunity you have is that you have served as president for a while. And you know, in Nigeria, once you served as president, you cannot be interrogated. You can't be taken to the court for whatever it is. It's quite unfortunate. Tinubu never knew this was going to happen. After the court, the tribunal said, oh, you won the election. I mean, you won it. It's okay. You're about to watch a video, and in this video, you'll be seeing and hearing a lot. So it won't be like I'm the only one just saying this and that. Let's hear other people's opinion. Let us listen and watch from the beginning of it till the end. This is going to be very serious. And along the way, we will talk, we'll analyze it like we often do. Let us get right into it. But before we proceed, like and share this video is very important. Tap on the subscription button, turn on the notification bell.
The issue is that the university, the Chicago State University, have said on oath, the certificate of 27 June 1979 is not our certificate. We did not issue it. He was our student, but this certificate is a forgery. The triangle, the name of the person that signed it, you know, they pointed out all the obvious infractions, and this was very embarrassing.
Damaging.
Damaging.
But let's be clear on what has and hasn't emerged from those depositions. We know, for instance, that President Tinubu did attend Chicago State University from 1977 to 1979 and was awarded a bachelor's degree with honors. The registrar confirmed that. That much has been affirmed, and that is right.
So the university is saying that the transcript that they have, you know, diplomas are usually ceremonial in the US, they said. But that in this situation, in this case, they did not issue this diploma. Now, what that means is that it's possible he went to Chicago University. It's possible that the background documents that brought him to Chicago University are the documents he doesn't want us to go into. But I don't think that was enough to force the forgery. You know, I came out during the case of the young girl, Umesoma in Anambra, who took JAMB in my CBT center. Scored 249, decent score. That's a B in any, out of 400, that's a B, you know, in Nigerian 60 and above. Then decided to manipulate her result to 362 and claimed that this is her score. She got 362. Now, everybody is worried. Why would you, with your 249, now jack yourself up by 100 and something marks to do that? So there's a psychology about fraud that is not clear to people. Why would a girl, a 19-year-old girl, why would you change your results to 362 from 249?
But that's not...
If you went to school, why would you now forge a certificate of the same school you went to?
Well, that's a matter of speculation. I mean, the key legal issue is that you forged your certificate.
Yes.
That's the key legal issue,
so the point I'm making is, I don't know why anybody would do that. To your point about he went to the school. So my point is, you know, I can see that with Umesoma. She took JAMB. She got 249. Why would you do this? I don't know why. But I don't know why, and it doesn't concern me. My concern on this matter is, why would you then forge the certificate of a university that you went to?
Or maybe your concern is that you believe you have evidence to now prove that he forged his certificate.
The university under oath said so. I'm quoting them. I'm not saying...
So I mean, you have legal experience as well. So the legal question is, does the fact that Mr. Tinubu submitted a fake, allegedly submitted a fake certificate to INEC, invalidate his claim to have attended and graduated from Chicago State University? And the answer, according to the university's registrar, is that it does not.
Okay, so the university registrar is not in a position to determine what the outcome of a forged document is. In the US, all the president needed to have done was to send in his transcript and say, I lost my certificate. Here are my transcripts. He didn't do that. Now, Section 1371J says, if you provide that, no person shall be qualified for election to the office of the president if they have presented a forged certificate to the Independent National Electoral Commission.
But we know
that's about Nigeria. So in the US, it may not be an issue.
I understand.
But by the Nigerian law, it invalidates his candidature, not whether he went to CSU. He has left the domain of whether he went to CSU. We've left that. Here is whether he is qualified. Now, because there are two important things that happened in his affidavit. He swore an oath that he did not attend the primary school, that he has no secondary school certificate, and that he has only the CSU certificate. Once you tendered that, it became an issue. It became, a point in issue, a fact in issue. So now, if the CSU certificate is not genuine, was not issued by the university, it then means there's nothing to fall back on. There's no secondary school certificate. There's no primary school certificate. It's still a mystery how he got to university without those two, but let's assume he did. Smart guy. He walked into university and showed them he's smart, and they took him. So what the problem now is that if you remove that CSU certificate, then that form is empty. There's nothing to fall back to. He then doesn't meet the qualification for the office of the President of Nigeria, which requires you to have a school certificate at the minimum, or other certificates acceptable to INEC.
Right. So I suppose the next logical question is, what are you going to be able to do with this new material from Chicago to support your case here in Nigeria? Can you submit it as fresh evidence to the Supreme Court or not?
We plan to do that. We're going to submit it to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Whether they will accept it is a question for them. But I think this is beyond legalism. I think it's beyond legalism. I don't think that Nigeria as a country should be debating whether the Supreme Court will accept a document. We're internationally embarrassed. We're going to be the subject of international conversations.
Yeah. Do not skip this video. You have to watch it till the end of it. You heard what you said. It is embarrassing to hear, to watch, to see that the president of Nigeria is going through forgery and all of that. What is this thing all about? Why are we like this? Well, I wouldn't blame Bola Ahmed Tinubu. No, I would not blame him. You see, the past president of Nigeria, in the person of Major General Muhammadu Buhari, he also had no O levels, which is the minimum criteria to qualify you as a presidential candidate or aspirant or whatever. You just need to present an O-level certificate and, according to interpretation, something equivalent to it. That is what you have been asked to present. There have been a lot of technicalities and arguments as regards this, but in the case of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at least you do not need to present your university certificate if you know you have problems and issues with it. Why don't you just present your O levels? Or is it that Bola Ahmed Tinubu never attended a secondary school? We heard about his 1970 government college stories and all of that, and unfortunately the college was instituted in 1974. So when did Bola Ahmed Tinubu attend a school that was only instituted 3-4 years later? But did he graduate in the spirit? Oh, I do not understand why this man is so much interested in hiding. Well, do not let us drag this too long. The truth is that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not Tinubu. Unfortunately, because of the way things are in Nigeria and because he needed to hide under the Tinubu surname to achieve what he wanted to achieve, Bola Ahmed Tinubu probably had a school leaving certificate under Shogolere, which is his surname, from Iragbiji. And if he is to present this, it will kind of clash with all that he has presented all through till he went to the US and all that he did. So he's not ready for that. And I'm very sure that those who are friends of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who know him back then in school, have been paid or they've been silenced. They cannot come out to say, you know what? He's our classmate. His name is Shongolere. We were classmates together here and there. Or is it that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did what they call home schooling, which is something that is common back in those years for people who cannot afford to go to a regular school. What they do is to learn at home and they do the exams and they pass. So did Bola Ahmed Tinubu do the exams and passed, but under Shongolere? Because if he did under Tinubu, he should not be having problems. Even if you scored F9 parallel and you could not present your certificate to any institution out there, probably in America, in the UK, and he had to rely on someone else's certificate to do what he did. Because why are we even discussing this thing? Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where is your secondary school certificate? Where is your university certificate? Which school did you attend? Bring it. Let us confirm it. It's as simple as that. We should not be dwelling on this. It's a disgrace. Let us proceed more to listen to this learned gentleman.
You need legitimacy. You need to go to the West African region to spread the gospel of democracy. You can't go there with a tainted mandate. That is the point. I don't think the point is the Supreme Court's decision. The Supreme Court will be doing itself and the country a great disservice if it does not take judicial notice of what the legal deposition in Chicago University has done. So what is at issue here really for me is that I think the president should just resign. There should be some honor in this country. He should just say, you know, I made a mistake. I don't know how I got this certificate. I don't know, I sent somebody and maybe he got to me wrong. But this is not something that needs another technical, legal rigmarole. No, this is something that will hobble the country. It will reduce our capacity to intervene in the West African region. It will reduce our capacity to be the leading African nation. It will reduce its ability to convince Nigerians that we need to take difficult decisions. It will be difficult to convince our students in school to follow the path of honor. So I don't think this is an issue of legality. For me, I don't see it as a legal issue. Well, I see it as a moral one.
Yes, but some would certainly argue that much as they would agree with you, you have a political motive for wanting to see it more as a moral issue than a legal issue. The legal eagles are saying that these are two different things. We must establish the legality or illegality of what has happened, and that it is incumbent upon the Supreme Court to look at the circumstances, because in law there is always circumstantial evidence. There are circumstances that lead to things, that they would have to ask fundamental questions about whether, first of all, a forgery actually took place. And if it did take place, is it forgery based on carelessness or forgery based on intent to deceive? Because oftentimes in law, if you can prove a premeditation, an intention to deceive, then that's a different thing than just saying that somebody may be out of carelessness, that maybe, you know, he was rushed to submit a certificate and he didn't have the right to, he felt this will not invalidate the fact that I did go to Chicago State because the university has said, yes, he did attend. So that's not really the issue here. But so the fact that that document ended up being submitted, assuming that is a forged document.
Yes.
You see the point I'm making?
So, no, the point I'm making is not for a strict liability issue. If you submit forged documents under oath, because if he had said, these are my transcripts, my certificate, I'm not certain, you know, about this certificate, but I got one online from the school, you know, but I'm not certain. But here are my transcripts, just in case, if there is an issue with this certificate. But if you submitted a certificate of a university, you did not present a secondary school certificate, you did not present a primary school certificate, you have been the subject of an investigation about whether you went to Government College Ibadan and you didn't go, whether you went to University of Chicago, you said it was a mistake. We accepted that, you know, Africa, you remember the mistake in filling your form. Then Ifawemi died fighting this cause, you know, to say, you need to investigate this man. He didn't go to these schools he's mentioning. So now we have another issue. Since 2007, when he left as governor, if he had gone to write GCE, like a governor did that, gone to write GCE, 2 papers, he doesn't need to pass. He just needs to be present. Our constitution does not require you to pass. The biggest job in Nigeria doesn't require you to be brilliant. It doesn't require you to have minimum academic capabilities. He could have just said, you know what, I went and took WAEC. Here's my WAEC certificate. Case dismissed. So for the sense of impunity, of entitlement, to wait for 16 years since 2007, to get to the point when you are going to be president and you are the subject again of another certificate scandal, it means that you have no regards for us as Nigerians.
Well, we will have to wait and see how that turns out. But just to conclude that section, because I want to talk to you about something else, but to conclude that section, it is your contention, ineluctably, that the president submitted forged documents to INEC, and that you being the PDP, you have sufficient evidence to back up that claim now.
Yes, we have the deposition on oath of the Chicago State University that certificate, that 27 June certificate, is not a certificate issued. He graduated on 22nd of June, not 27th. The registrar pointed that out. But that the people who signed this, the names on this, are not that of 1979. And we have no record of a reissued certificate. We have no record of that. So we couldn't have reissued the 79 certificate in 97. And when they asked him that you wrote that he was reissued, a reissue of 1997, he said, I want to put it on record that that was a typographical error. I meant 1979, not 1997. So that unequivocally makes it clear that we have an issue with the 27th of June certificate, and we will give it to the Supreme Court.
Right.
But beyond giving it to the Supreme Court is the issues before the nation. We're in a very tight corner as a country now, and we need to move forward, and we need to very, very much move forward. I wish I knew that this certificate was not genuine. Maybe I would have been one of those begging Alhaji Abubakar Atiku, not to embarrass Nigeria internationally. Let's settle this at home. Let's figure out how to do this. If he had come out straight to us and said, please, don't go here. These certificates, you get K-leg. I will have been one of those, because I'm more worried that our security agencies for the past 24 years haven't been able to tell us definitively, please, these certificates, is not something we should talk about. It doesn't exist, or it does exist. And it is sad, because the FBI said they will start releasing documents, 500 pages a month. And I'm thinking, 2,500 pages? I wonder what they are. Because Malcolm X had 2,400 pages of documents. So are we going to sit down and be going from one issue to the other every month about our president?
Wow, I would have been one of those that would have begged Alhaji Atiku Abubakar if I knew that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with all this braggadocio, does not have a certificate that can be authenticated and all of that. I would have begged Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, like, know what, man, do not embarrass us internationally, allow this to slide, because this will be in record that we have a president who cannot present his O-level certificate or his university certificate or even a diploma that is not forged. Everything about Bola Ahmed Tinubu is forged. His name is forged. His identity is forged. Certificate is forged. His life is forged. Everything about him is forged. Nothing is worth pointing to, apart from he could become president in the system like Nigeria. In a country like Nigeria, he could become president. Now, do not get me wrong. There are countries also that people look up to that have issues like this, where people even end up becoming pilots without having the required certificate, and they're able to perform. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to perform in different sectors, meaning that somehow he was able to teach himself certain things like bookkeeping and accounting. He was able to do some of these things for him to be able to go work in quote in Mobile. He was able to do some of these things, meaning he was able to perform in whatever office that he was put in. Now, is that enough for us to say, okay, let us cover up this and just let it slide? It's okay, it doesn't matter. Let him just become the president. Let him do. After all, he's able to do it. Whose certificate help? Bear in mind that the purpose of a certificate is to ensure that everyone meets up with a benchmark. Just imagine that you go to an hospital and you meet with a doctor, in quote a doctor, or a surgeon, someone who is to operate on you, and this person did not go through the 4 walls of a university or a medical school or a school of surgeon. He didn't do none of this thing, and he's to operate on you. Will you be comfortable under the knife of that person to do surgery? Will you be a little bit, at least 50% or 60% comfortable under someone who had gone to medical school, surgeon school, to do what he needs to do on you? This is what we should ask. Are we to allow a man who is as fraudulent as this? apart from him being cunning, are we to allow him to remain in power? And I'm not making an excuse for Atiku Abubakar, because these goons are supposed to end up in jail. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, Obasanjo, Babangida, just name them. You can put their list down there and write the number of years that they are supposed to serve in prison. Many of these people are supposed to serve in prison. Many of them are the group of people who have kept us here. Just imagine when you've been hearing Obasanjo, hearing Atiku, hearing about all of these people, and they are still remain in power. They've consumed first, second, third, fourth, fifth generation, even more. They are ready to do more because their children are being prepared to take over. But unfortunately, history has been taken off from school, and people are more interested in trivial matters rather than them focusing, because soon the children of these criminals will come back. Of course, they have the money, they have the connection, they know themselves. They will come back to take over power, and they will continue in the enterprise of their parents or grandparents. Then, what else is going to remain? What else will remain? That is the question that we should begin to ask ourselves. Is it serious? Is it an eyesore? What are your thoughts as regards this one, this analysis that you heard? Drop your comment, like and share. Subscribe to this channel. See you in the next update.